Okay, hello and good evening. A very good evening to you all from the flight deck. It is, of course, Heli Chap speaking. Finally, coming to you from something I have hands-on experience with. So, we've had the 40th anniversary update just been released. Yes, it has taken me nearly 5 hours to download it, but in the nick of time, it is here, and I've bound one control, but the rest of it, I'm just going to busk it from here. So, you join us at Elstree, north of London, in the United Kingdom. We're in a CABRI G2 at the moment, a French one, in the colour they like to call Sacre Bleu, but on a British registration. I am very excited to see what this is all about. Obviously DCS and X-Plane have been good with helicopters for a while. Historically, Microsoft Flight Simulator wasn't that amazing. Needed even a couple of external plugins, and even then it kind of struggled to do helicopter flight that well. But we're here now. Let's jump into a CABRI and see what it's made of, shall we? Can I do a little bit of the... I won't bother with the outside yet. Or will I? Yeah, let's take a look around the outside. Tell you what. Let's jump into a showcase view that moves around quite slowly. Let's have a look. Speed 10. That'll do. Yeah, so the CABRI G2 then. Lovely little helicopter. I absolutely adore these. I think they're massively underrated. Fantastic training helicopter. And I'm actually getting quite a bit of exposure in utility sectors as well. So, as you'll see shortly, here we go. As you'll see shortly, you are actually able to replace this window down here with a mission fit panel. So you just pop that window out, slot a panel in, and that can have a camera. Yeah, it can have like one of those 360 ball camera things. Somewhat exciting. My rotation, my view hasn't worked. So I have had to fully reinstall Microsoft Flight Simulator several times now. It is very broken for me, but we'll see how it goes thanks to Sim Update 11. And the only extra thing I've added apart from these sceneries is the UK World Update. I haven't even bothered with the others, so I'll take till Christmas to download. Although I am intrigued why my camera controls aren't working, so I will, as rapidly as I can, keyboard view commands, camera in, drone camera. Why is that not working? Right, so it is working then. Note 9. It's already used. Cancel. But it's not working. Ah, it's brilliant, this isn't it? Well done, Asoba, as always. Either way, we'll just look at the CABRI from this side, shall we? So yeah, it's a 3-bladed helicopter. Good for safety in terms of just reduces risks of things like mast bumping and things like that. Introduces more of a tendency to get ground resonance. We can come on to that into later videos I'll do, which will cover some of your essentially ATPL related content, although hashtag disclaimer, don't use them for real world flying, although if you did, you may or may not go far wrong with them. Little bits of bobs underneath, so we've got our pitot tube, which is covered by the looks of it. Pitot tube's covered, so that needs to come off. As part of the walk around, you've got your static port, which is also covered. So it hasn't got a hole in. Looks like your ADS-B antenna, and then your VOR antennas on this one. A lot of them have different fit out. So first sure that's VOR with VHF on top. That's your gascolator for taking fuel samples and stuff. Gasco drain. That a lot of people forget about. That's a lot of the time just a big hole with a mesh over it. That's for airing out the compartment in the back, the baggage compartment. Let's go up a little bit. Wow. See how detailed this is. This looks very good, I must say. This is very nice in here. You've got your exhaust pipes. Checking those out. How far in can we get? Ooh. There should be carb heat along here somewhere. There you've got your big shiny exhaust coming out. You've got fuel lines, so the orange is your fuel. You can have a look at the integrity of those. It's a shame you can't pull the clips off of this. Get underneath. That looks quite well done in there. Fairly well done indeed. You can see bits of just see like oil filter and so on there. It's got bits of carbon cabin heating pipes. Oh, that looks pretty good actually. You'd like to think so, given it being at the factory. I mean, it would have been criminal if this aircraft wasn't in there, wouldn't it? French company, like the French simulator and all that. Yeah, I mean, we've had the Robinson R22 over the years. It would have been, obviously, it's always nice to have more. But I think in lieu of a 22, they had to have done this. They could not. Got our fuel cap on the side, 170 litres maximum. If I remember rightly, because it was a while. 168.5 usable gallons, so it's got 1.5 usable litres in there. Fenestrated tail rotor. So it's essentially shrouded. This nice little fenestron assembly, which gives it a nice big fin, lots of at-speed stability. Performance in a hover is interesting, to say the least. We'll come back to that. Got a tail sting on here for those botched auto rotations. Apart from that, yeah, manufacturer number on the tail, 1216. We do want beacon on top, plus on the other side. I'll try and do this in reverse with track IR. It's not going well, is it? Not much to speak of apart from the cargo compartment on the side there. You can see these pendulum weights on here. They help with the balance, so it's a fully articulated rotor head. You've got your rotating and non-rotating scissors in here. And then each of the blades is covered as standard for maintenance, etc. Cool. Apart from that, the satisfying bit's a little ping that these make. So it's like a retainer for the bolts on top of here, which yeah, good fun to play with. Not the bolts, but the retainer, the retaining pin. So yeah, not much to say about the CABRI really, apart from most of this tail structure here when taking people around before. So you've got your T-bar, holding the assembly in place. The drive shaft back there. You can see the cotter pins. The cotter pins are very well done. And the locking wires, or cotter pins, whatever you call them. Nice bit of chip detector there in blue. And then got our oil level back there. Most of this, have they accurately modelled it? Can't quite see them. French cable tyres. That's always the bit that gets people worried. I certainly did. I'd take people up in CABRI. I should just make sure I show them this bit and just say, yes, this aircraft is held together with French cable ties, and then we just watch them go white. Particularly with the horrendous belt noise you get on these at startup. It's a fairly endemic CABRI thing, but they screech and scream like, I don't even know. It's just belt noise like you get on some cars starting up, but God, it's horrendous. And it's essentially your actuator here. For the pedals, so you can push and pull this. And you can see the pedals move in the aircraft. Part of your freedom of movement checks. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's dive in, see what the CABRI G2 is made of then. Cockpit. And this is first. Look, I've assigned one control, and that was the helicopter throttle, which I'm not even convinced, well, that is working. Is it in the right direction? That's on. Roll it away from you. Towards you is off. So I'll just have to get used to that. Cool. So we're in the CABRI with a bit of blade sailing going on. So it is a bit windy outside. Quite high inertia. They don't normally blow around this much, I must say. However, our fuel is half on, which it shouldn't be. It should be off. Oh, is this number one? Is this thing number one? Come on, man. Well, bug/issue number one mixture. That should go through essentially a full 180, near enough, all the way forward and pretty much all the way back. Flush against this up here, like the light and the magneto and plasma assembly. I guess that's off. It's gonna scare the hell out of me. Rotor brake, yeah. Rotor brake works, that's nice. Look at that. CABRI, yes, it's probably a €250 optional extra. This you can reach through into the back. Oh, it is see-through, it's just the texturing. There's normally a little shelf, actually. A shelf kind of where these are. Just checking, says I've lost connection, but I'm not surprised if I have. For this garbage internet that I have. By all means, drop some comments and things if, you know, a bit of a forewarning now for anyone who has joined. My internet connection is so bad, I'm suing the people responsible for it. So if I do drop out, apologies, try and stick around. I'll try and be as quick as possible, use phone as a backup or something. Yeah, and just let us know what sound is like and all that sort of thing. I don't play about this one that often. Okay. Yeah, apart from that, the CABRI, so main controls then, cyclic. Whee. In the middle. Nice and stiff, no hydraulic assistance. Quite a good amount of feel to it, I do like it a lot. Got trim on top, which doesn't animate when I move it. Maybe it's not moving, I don't know. This one to the right of it is just to switch frequencies on the radio. So if you've got primary and secondary, or you can hold it down and it will switch you to the emergency frequency 121.5. And on the back, it's your push to talk trigger. Yeah, good fun. And then pedals, you've got, yeah. I always refer to them as rudder pedals because I started out fixed wing. They're rudder pedals, but you know, they're anti-torque pedals that control the anti-torque rotor, or just the pedal. And then the all-important collective. So this bit silver down here And this is your friction, as shown here. So they can apply friction. It's just like with most things, it's just friction. So it's there to keep it in one place. So if you're in a very long cruise, you need to take a hand off. First of all, you're going to take it off the collective usually, because you just set a power and try and sort of leave it there for that phase of flight. At which point you roll on a bit of friction, because I always got told off when I started training in these years ago. I always got told off for keeping the hand on the collective. I'd take, much to the terror of my instructor, I would take my hands off the cyclic to do something like quickly write something down, because it was trimmed, right? And if something happens to the engine, the first thing you need to do is drop the collective, and if that thing's got a shed load of friction on and you're sat there trying to get it down, you're going to be dead a lot faster than reacting to the cyclic, to a bit of a gust, which you're potentially like your knees can hold anyway. I'm just very paranoid about using the friction in flight, essentially, but it is doable. But ideally, in a helicopter like this, you're not going to be messing around too much, and you're not got any other systems. You're not got any SAS and stability augmentations try and keep you in the right direction. So the collective just comes up and down with a bit of a squeak. Fuel cock on the back, that will be off first flight of the day. Cool. Yeah, you've got your throttle on the end, so that twists away from you for more power and towards you to cut. There is a correlator, so there are two things that help with keeping these aligned and managed. There's the correlator, which you should see. Is it gone? Only a correlator cable. Either way, there's a mechanical linkage between these two, so that you always, when lifting and dropping collective, it will increase and decrease throttle. But it doesn't do it quite accurately enough. So in the mid-ranges, it works best, and then as you rip full power, it won't put enough throttle in, and then as you drop it down, it'll leave a bit too much throttle on, so it's almost a little bit stuck in the middle. It's there to help if you do have a governor failure, like governor off flying. It's always a bit of a laugh, and isn't too difficult if you just take it easy and just kind of slow everything down, and you're not too abrupt with stuff. So if you're nice and smooth, governor off flying, certainly in the CABRI, isn't much of a chore at all. Obviously we have a governor, and that's a nice big switch on the end. I can try and contort myself with track IR to show you. There you go. It's actually governor and your starter next to it. And the governor pin kicks in at around 400 rotor RPM, and that then just manages the throttle more accurately. Yeah, not much to say else really about the cockpit in this CABRI. Let's see what specifically we've got in this CABRI. Is that you turn and slip indicator, got a bit of a DI thing going on, an altimeter, artificial horizon, ASI, you got your EPM, the electronic pilot monitor, or they're all French on this, electronic pilot monitor or something like that, or MPE, monitor pilot electronic, something like that. I should probably have gone back through my notes and re-looked at that beforehand, but never mind. We've got traditional OBS down here for VOR stuff. We've got VSI, lovely, some sort of Garmin with an SD card slot, so it looks like an NXI, like a 450 NXI or something, maybe the 6. Not as in tune with the latest small Garmins, but it's a bit of a trig looking transponder, and then you've got your audio panel down here. Funky. This one's got aircon. Aircon. Look at that. Never had one with full aircon before. And then the heater, cabin heater. Have used that a fair few times. Although the Cabri gets bloody hot. I think I've always been too hot in the Cabri. Always at least flown with a string on the door. Can you attach the string to the door? No. Can you even open the door? No. Well, that's disappointing. And that's the end of the stream. Thanks everyone. Okay, don't worry. Yeah, lock and unlock. So very technical. Again, along with our French cable ties, holding the tail on to stop the doors flinging open in an accident, or indeed you can actually fly with either the doors completely off or on the string. You just hook this string over the large bar when it's closed. Very technical. I'll never forget that, but it keeps things simple, doesn't it? So, and just for ideas of how things move, let's see if this moves on the outside then. So we'll wave the stick around. Stick. That should be very difficult to move, and move the rotor head, which it's not doing. Oh, the tail moves though. Hey, it does move. So you can see on here, move my head in the right place. You can just about see the fenestron working there. So essentially the shrouded tail rotor, and you can see that actuator I was talking about there. Essentially piston with the linkage going back to the pedals. That's just forcing the torque level of the blades in the tail. And then for the collective's working at the moment. Cool. So you can see the swash plate pushing up. Hence why we call it the collective. It collectively increases the pitch of the blades. Nice. Cool. Now we've got the newer silver blades on here. A few of them had blue blades at the start. It was like a blue looking composite. Blue blades would look, I always thought they looked quite cool, but that's when you realise they were the oldest blades. So you know, they needed to go back to factory, then it normally had silver blades on by the end of it. But apart from that, short of opening panels and things, there's not much more else to say about the Cabri. This would be your iPad holder. Your holder for your iPad. My iPad is in front of me instead. And you could have a second one on the side and all that sort of thing. Let's pull up my checklist then on the old iPad. Let's see how it compares to real world procedure. So I'm not going to go round the pre-flight on account of we can't open the doors in the engine. And my controls for some reason aren't working. Or the what do you call it? It's like the drone mode camera. I can't rotate them. I've just had to fully reinstall, even like wiping Steam Cloud and all that. Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I lost everything, like my pilot hours and everything. Just a bit of a nightmare, but oh well. Cool. So let's go through a quick before start checklist then. What time is it? Half an hour. Not bad. A half-hour intro. Cool. So then, before start engine, if you've got any flight trackers and devices, a lot of the time they would be plugged into the... Can I get much further over? Not by much. There's a little door just down here, in the side there. It's almost like a little front cargo bit, which goes between you, between the two pilots, under the panel. A lot of the time that's got sort of temporary, in inverted commas, equipment, like if you've got an ADS-B tracker, so ADS-B or a flight tracker or something, they can be plugged in there. Yeah, there's normally like 12-volt car cigarette lighter sockets in there and stuff. Blanks, covers and tie downs, I would say removed, but you know what? Looks a hell of a lot like the pitot cover is on to me. And no hole in the static port means it's got the blank in as well. So we're not going to get any airspeed readouts. Oh well. or indeed a correct altitude readout. But I'm being picky. I'm being picky. It's day 0. This is a 0-day exploitation right here. There you go. 0-day exploit on the CABRI. Harnesses fastened. Harnesses are non-existent in this. So good luck. They're normally attaching up here and then going down the back of the seat. Seats, oh there you go. Little snippet thing on anti-crash rails. So these absorb an impact. So this seat's kind of, yeah, they're just like the reverse of an ejector seat. They absorb an impact beneath you. Also shock absorbing seats. Cockpit loose articles secured. Loose articles in here. No. Apart from the pilot's brain cells. Collective full and free. So we have roll off the friction. So that'd be rolling to the right. So the same way that the throttle is now about to roll. So you'd roll the friction off that way. Bring it up and check the blades move. 1, 2, 3, and down. And they all come down again. Good. And the friction will go back on just to reduce it lifting itself up during the start process, and you know get a bit of lift without sufficient RPM, etc., and flipping the helicopter. Cyclic full free return to neutral. You would see that moving quite a lot. You should do. Normally during this, you can see the whole head moving around. And if anything, it's very difficult. You think the gyroscopic effect of rotors being on it a bit more difficult, but no, it's bloody hard to shove this thing around. And especially if you're a bloke, if you're a gentleman with, or any, you know, not necessarily identifying as a man, whatever you identify as, but you are blessed with external organs between your thighs, you can do the old the whack fuck game in the Black Hawk that guy does, because literally you just rip that back and it goes back quite far into your plums. It goes back a bit further than that physically. So you can plumb shot your instructor if you're feeling mean and want to fail your skills test. But I'll return to neutral anyway, just mucking around. And pedals, yes, travel free, left, centre, right, centre. Good. Have a look in behind you, and a bit of a waterfall check down here. So, check the ELT is armed, hasn't been accidentally switched on, your headsets are in. Check all these circuit breakers, do any of these work? I doubt it. Big sad. Very sad indeed. Oh well. Circuit breakers don't work, but yeah, circuit breakers are all in, none have popped out. And you check your DATCON in here, or quartz. I don't like DATCON's like a manufacturer as well, but you just check your hours on there and note them down. Make sure the fuel cock is on. All switches are off, so all these switches are off, and that should be off with the cover down, yes. Except carb heat, which is on auto. Master switch comes on the left. Hey, it's a 650 XI. Nice. And the screen powers on. You can see your last flights in there. Oh, makes the right noises. That's good. Oh, that's a little bit fast though. Only that stays on for a little bit longer than that, and you can force skip it with these buttons down the right here. Oh, you can hear the gyros firing up. Not sure if you can, because I have turned you down. I'll just be all tapping. But yeah, you can hear the gyros firing up in there. That's that bloody noisy noise. Satisfying though, like a jet engine. NR, so NR for NRPM goes to backup. Does it? Does it? Come on, surely. What? No, the NR horn doesn't move. Okay, well that should go to backup for the low relative RPM indicator. It's got its own little backup battery, because if the engine does fail, you know, you want to run it off its own system, so that in auto rotation you can still get an indication of whether you're too fast or too slow relative RPM. And then the green light should be on in backup, but it's saying low, so that's not entirely amazing behaviour. EPM alarms, none other than standard. which in this are quite obviously going to be oil pressure, which is off the top. That should be still at 0. Fuel pressures at 0 correctly. Oil temperature 14, and carb temperature just is what it is. Apparently there's one brick of carb heat on at the moment. It shouldn't be at the moment. Nah. That's a bit dicky behaviour there. Fuel quantity we check anyway, 80 litres, or 81 in this case. That's fairly standard, nice number. You plan for 40 litres an hour. So an hour and a half flight time here, with half an hour being 20, so an hour takes us down to 40, 20, and then like 30-minute reserve on the end. The quantity, yeah, we check. Governor is off with the governor light on, so that's the blue light to say that the governor's off. Normally all these lights test. Okay, there's a bit of weirdness in some of these systems, but we'll see how we get on. Governor comes on, light goes off, governor comes back off again. The end there. Mixture comes forward to fully rich, which it sort of does. Am I low down in this? I think the seating. No. Cool. Yeah, that should be all the way back. That should move through roughly 180 degrees all the way forward. There we go. And then the rotor brake comes back a little bit further than that, but not much. So yeah, the mixture comes forward to fully rich. Headset and radio. Yeah, so the headset, make sure it's in. If you've got like a Bose set, which you probably would want some sort of noise cancelling in these. Oh. Yeah, I think the server's getting old at the moment. Hopefully you're still with me. But yeah, the Sobo server's getting absolutely smashed at the moment. I think they're up and down like oars drawers at the moment. Yeah, so if necessary, request motor start. So at Elstree with a nameless operator. I was about to say, but there's only one to choose from, but there aren't. There isn't only one to choose from. I'm just going to make sure you're still with me. I have to Alt-Tab out because I'm getting errors and errors and errors. Left, right, and centre. Minimise that. Yeah, that's the wedging out, for God's sake. Anyhow. Early adopters, that's what it is. Still unreachable. Never mind. Yeah, headset and radio, so you can request mode to start here if you are with a based operator and you sent your like your booking out form. A lot of the time if you're a helicopter they don't necessarily ask you to start or start. But in this case we will do. So here it'll be Elstree information. Which I will pull up a frequency for. Say Elstree information 122.405. Man, I've forgotten that off the top of my head already. Tap this. I like this GTN 650. One two two decimal 405. And actually, I won't bother with the air traffic stuff in the sim, because again, my key binding has gone that I used to use, and text to speech. That's going to do my edit. The servers at presumably a Sobo's end, if you're still with me, I'm not playing ball, but is what it is. Like, obviously things will settle down. Everyone's just riding the hype train at the moment. Guilty as charged. Bring the checklist back up. Yeah, so it'll be Elstree information, helicopter, Golf, Charlie Bravo, Romeo, India, CABRI 2 on POB on the pad, this one's probably like pad 2 here roughly. On pad 2, request airfield information and engine start. That'll be Golf Charlie Bravo Romeo India. Elstree information, readability 5. Runway in use today is probably going to be, that would be probably 2.6-ish. Q&H, whatever it would be. Yeah, Q&H, QFE. Engine line start approved. Golf taxi. Instruments, and then you'd set your instruments, so set based off that. So yeah, you do Q&H, which today is whatever 30.3 something is, 3031 or something. A lot of these should have aligned, caged and stuff. We'll see what happens after engines start. Because again, a lot of the ones I flew had an electronic display here instead. But oh well. Yeah, so you'd set your volumes. Just set those on here. Just mess about with that. There you go, maximum. Any other equipment, and then strobe comes on. So these are great because you work left to right and right to left pretty much. So strobe comes on. We've got our red strobe at the back. Yeah, look at it go. Jobs come on. Fuel pump comes on with a fuel pressure increase. Oh, that warning's really irritating. Pump comes on with a pressure increase. Good. I like that. That's good. Oh, the servos are back. Manual fuel injections. So, the first start of the day in a cold CABRI, you want 4 injections, like 4 pumps, 2 injections for a warm start. So, on here, set 15%, and this should be blue with this, if I remember rightly. So we're setting throttle down here, so we're opening throttle up to 15%. And then we pump the collective, pull that all the way up. See, that's not quite enough there. See, pumping that but from 15%, raising this all the way now, should give us 100. So I'll open the throttle even more, and that's opened it fully, so that's not quite a proper behaviour there. So that's with full throttle open. So that's 1 pump, 2, and it's a cold start, so we'll go 4, 3, 4, down collective, and back to 10% for the start. Rotor brake, we'll check, pulls on, the light comes on and back off again. Mixture, check again, fully forward. Ignitions, magneto comes on. Plasma comes on, and this should have a beeper that comes with it. Good beeper. PTSD coming back from that noise. Area, check clear. Do a quick flight chops off whoever it is, check clear! Scream it in your weirdest voice. Cyclic, firmly in a neutral position. I don't have a problem with that because I've got a self-centering joystick, but just want to make sure that's there. It helps blade sailing. You're not going to kill any people who've just walked past even though you told them not to and all that sort of thing. And the next bit can happen fairly quickly, so I'll talk about it first. So it's going to be a starter activates until ignition. Starter light should come on briefly and then go out when released, so when the button is released. Just keep the engine RPM around 1000 for the time being, so engine RPM on the inside. Oil pressure light should be off within 30 seconds of starting. Alternator light should go out as we bring in the alternator, and then the clutch, we lift the guard, engage and replace it. So we'll try that now. So hand on the throttle ready. Oh, that's the governor. Oh, okay, that's the starter pressed, and we'll bring back to 1000 RPM. There's the engine, all pressure light, off within 30 seconds of starting, which it is. Alternator comes on, light goes out, clutch goes in, and increase throttle to keep with that terrible scream. God, that's not too bad. It's quite good. I'm now at full throttle, but I shouldn't be with this. That would be running away and going absolutely mental by now. So that's not amazing behaviour. By the way, that should start coming up. And the timers, we'd start with the clutch. So it's a flight timer start. Come on. Second one up. No. Okay, never mind. Throttle adjust if necessary to avoid engine stall. The needles should be joined, which they now are. The clutch light is out. And then we set 2000 engine RPM, which is around 400 rotor RPM. Because they should be joined at that point. 400 rotor RPM. And actually I'm sat here trying to get it bang on now, and it is like that in the morning. First start of the day, I sat there trying to nudge a very sticky throttle. Go on, 400 for the warm-up. Lovely jubbly. Come on. And you want that nice round 400 so that you can do your mag checks, plasma checks. You can see we've already got some carb heat with a couple of bricks in, so I don't know, it's quite unusual, especially while it's at 28 degrees, not flying. Let's get about 12%. That'll do, it's close enough to 400. Okay, so plasma will bring off. Plasma comes off, and we should get a maximum drop of 300 RPM, normally more 100. Sorry. Plasma comes down to 300. 300 RPM. That's my readout. Where's the... Yeah, so the EPM has different modes. Almost like you get in like Airbuses and things like that, quite intelligent. So it knows what you're trying to do at each phase of flight. So this knows it's in startup because you've not gone into the yellow and upwards, rotor speed yet, and you've only just started it. So this should normally give a engine output as well in purple around here. Yes, remember, I'll have to dig out some of my old videos. But there should be an engine RPM output as well. I mean, you can kind of see from here, about 300-ish. And then you bring it back in and it should restore. So the plasma off, the engine's working on magnetos alone. Magnetos being less kind of effective and efficient than the plasma. And we'll wait for this. This is pretty quick when this happens. This is taking quite a while. This is normally pretty rapid. And I'm loath to touch the throttle just because it's going to mess up my nice round 400 RPM. Plasma magneto. Close enough. Let's bring the magnetos off, and this should barely drop at all because it's running on plasma now. At best, you get on 50 RPM drop. Maximum we're looking for is 100. That'll do. And it's only 5 seconds. We should be leaving our top floors off. 2, 3, 4, 45 on. And they should restore pretty much in that time as well. So obviously that was taking like 20 seconds to come back from the magneto only 300 RPM drop. So now we roll into the warm-up phase, so you want to be warming up for your cylinder head temperatures. So we'll roll up to 420, nice, RPM. And then we're going to sit here for warm-up. Blades, come on. Cool, at which point we're waiting for oil temperature to come up to minimum 30 on the aircraft, but company procedures are often 45 for maximum power. This is shot up to 116 already. Oh, that's... No, not on a, what is it, 018, 13 degrees. That is normally the bit you're sat on the ground waiting 10-15 minutes for that oil temperature to come up. That does not come up that quickly at all. And definitely wouldn't be in the hundreds by now. So that's one to maybe report back. But since on paper, like, we're good to go, let's roll up then. So you check oil temperature's open 45. Let's roll up to 530 then. And at this point we should get the bark warnings. So we should have these lights. So NRs, now it's flashing. Should be beeping at us. Roll up to 530 RPM. Nice. It's not bad from the outside. Pretty good noise. Pretty damn good. And then the bark, backup light should be green. And the horn should have muted. Yeah. So as you go through, you should mute the horn. Should you? Am I thinking that right? No, afterwards. So at this point, that should be green and flashing because it's in backup mode. So that's how you're testing the backup display of rotor RPM. But that's not modelled, sadly. I think that's even modelled on the freeware one. I did play about that like once, but I just didn't get on with it. Well, I'm hoping now, like the helicopter stuff gets decent, because I've got a decent API to work with in the sim. So, carb heat test, go to hot. I mean, the carb heat was already bloody on, by the looks of it, so there should be a brick appearing, but I mean, there's already two in there. So the caption should appear. And then to cold. There you go. That does sort of do it a little bit. So auto, it comes on. There should be a little arrow which comes up. So hot arrow caption, decrease, wait for the brick. Cold arrow caption, increase. And the RPM should increase slightly. It has increased a little bit. And then decrease with the hot. Yeah, it is doing okay. It's good that you get an RPM change. It normally is, you can get like 10 RPM out of it. When you sat at 530 and you pop cold on, you can be nudging to the top end and need to adjust your throttle slightly before you get a brick sometimes on cold days. So, not bad. Not bad. We'll put that in auto. I doubt auto would be keeping that on a 13-degree day, but oh well. Yeah, so we've done our carb heat test. I mean, well, actually what I can do is take a look from the outside sometime. I'll bind them to a button, so normally you should see that quite obviously from the outside. Fairly slow creeping, like actuation of the carb heat. A bit like you saw earlier with the tail rotor, the little piston-y thing that controls it with the cable linkage. Next stage then is to roll off throttle to idle, so this is us checking the bark and the idle speed of the engine, make sure it's not going to cut out in an auto rotation or something like that in practice auto. So force needle desync, so I'm going to shoot this right down, essentially cut pretty fast the throttle, and the engine should cut and the rotors will like take time to catch up. The bark lights should go to low with the horn, which will then be muted. So cutting 3, 2, 1 now. Oh, okay. So needles are separated, they're coming down, there should be a beeper. Rotor RPM should be coming down a lot faster than that now. Should be. And that horn should have been going at 466. If my numbers remind me correctly. You know what would have been good is if I'd have actually revised all this stuff, so I haven't touched the CABRI in over 18 months. 466, there should have been a horn, which you then mute with this, and that takes it from backup down to mute, and then it sits in main, so that's it then set ready for flight. And idle should be 1050 RPM or greater, 1050, and that should, I'm not 150% sure that should be saying it somewhere in here at this phase. They would have now gone from flight mode up here, next to where it says power there, or possibly even that goes from power to like engine mode or something instead. Essentially like ground warm-up mode. It's quite intelligent. It should know what you're trying to do with it as you do things. And this RPM, man, that would be way down by now. Needles would be back joined again, like within, definitely like within 10 seconds. By the way, throttle's filled in. Doors you would then close, latch, put this little epoxy string on. There you go. Make sure your passenger's got it as well. Hello, you've got your string on. Yes. And then you can open the door again if you wish, but with the string on, so it holds it like a good couple of centimetres open for a bit of extra airflow drawing out of the cabin. Also useful in the event of a fire or carbon monoxide warning, and carbon monoxide warnings in these are very common. You just get a massive CO warning in here, just because of the way the exhaust just blows stuff into the cabin, especially if you've got a tailwind up here when you're starting and going through all this nonsense on the ground. And with all that done, it's time to do the fun bit. So governor comes on. Governor on, light goes out, start rolling in throttle, and then it should catch at 400 rotor RPM. So we're rolling in throttle now. Rolling in. And then they should be coming up, I mean they should be synchronized already, jeez. 50%, and I'm going to really slowly bring this up. 400, bang. So that's not me now touching the governor. So I was just on 50% throttle there. The governor has taken it. Whee, cheeky. So you need a bit of manual intervention there, stop it going over the top. But there you go, there's the governor in control of the throttle now, and that is synced, and that is us ready to go. That is engine started. Lovely. Captain Combs, hello there over on YouTube. Thanks for your message. Haven't got the blades to fully stop turning. God, yeah, I know. Like they've got, everyone raves on about the CABRI. Oh, the blades got so much inertia behind them. It's great for auto rotation. Yeah, mate, not this much. Not just that. Not when I felt, you cut the throttle and it's taking like 2 minutes to come back down. They don't have that much. That's something that needs sorting. Whether that's CFD in the sim because it needs its resistance tweaking or something, or the blades don't weigh enough, or they weigh too much in here. Because again, bringing the throttle up, they took way too long to sync with the engine. Then that's a fairly good couple of seconds, but that's it. Trying to shut down the helicopter completely, blades either take forever to stop or don't stop. Yeah, I mean, so I got to this and they, at the start of the stream, they were just turning in the wind. It takes quite a bit of wind for them to do that. I think what's Elstree showing at the moment, like 15 knots tops or something. But yeah, these have got quite a bit too much of quite a bit of inertia. Yeah, no worries, cheers Cameron. This is the sort of thing I was holding out for, really. Obviously, at the moment, I just got issues with crap internet and all that stuff. But on the whole, finally, I feel like I can contribute something to the YouTube community as someone who trained on CABRI back in 2019, like very intensively as well. So hopefully, I'm able to show some stuff until Pilot Yellow, the YouTube guy over in Canada, comes along and does his own video series, and then I'm just redundant. So I don't know. I'll just go off and do Ready or Not or something. So that is us basically ready to go. So we do what's now called the G check, because it's like drawing the letter G. So around the outside of the top here, down to the carb heap, back up, and drawing across the panelling here. So we go, warning lights are out, so right to left alternator, low fuel, MGB, pressure, brake, governor starter. One less NR, should be high, should be out, should just be green in the middle. T's and P's, we go across in here. So carb heat, CHT, oil temperature, oil pressure, and fuel pressure. Carb heat's automatic, we drop down to, and in the green arc, which you just looked at anyway. EPM captions, there are none, so EPM captions will show up in here, because this is the EPM, electronic pilot monitoire, whatever it's bloody called. Yeah, that's it in there. That's where you'd get captions for issues like MGB, chip, and all that sort of thing. I mean, if that comes up, like, you just want to shit yourself, really. Fuel quantity, so lifting with 76, RPM 530, and synchronised in the green arc. Power and performance. So pedals neutral, check MLI first limit, so MLI is this on the left, rather than having what you'd get in a Robinson, etc., which will show you manifold pressure. This has what's known as a multiple limit indicator, MLI, because it's supposed to, but the issue is it's not doing it. That's what I was explaining just then. It's supposed to fairly intelligently know what you're doing and what sort of phase of flight or startup and shutdown you are in, and change what this means appropriately. So at the moment this is in power mode, and we've got a 90% RPM limit. That's fairly normal, except for like very cold days or very hot days and stuff. That won't really move. So you know, you've got your 120% over torque there, 100%, and then you've got 5 minutes in the yellow zone for when you're heavy with a tailwind behind you. Hopefully you can do it as a job. So yeah, about that's the only reason I'm streaming this at the moment, is because it was, and now it's not, because of medical issues. So I've been told pretty much I'm never going to fly again. So after 18 months of kicking around and stuff like this, sadly, yeah, it is not to be anymore. So all that money, time and expense and training over the couple of years, yeah, it lasted 18 months, and then I got put in hospital quite mortally, which I'm still sort of recovering from. In fact, next week actually. Next week, hopefully I'm off the medication, but I'll most likely never fly again, certainly not commercially. I may be able to do NPL microlight stuff, so at the moment I'm trying to intensively convert onto being a microlight instructor. So it keeps me in the air, but it's something different, but it means I can still try and get helicopters and stuff like this. And just noting, at the moment, CHT has just dipped into 260, so we've actually need to start lifting. So there's a full procedure for this. You can either go to idle, or you can start lifting and get some movement over the rotors, through the airflow on the front. So what we'll do, one lights are out, T's and P's being comms automatic, and then the green arc, no EPM captions, 75, 530, and 28 pedals neutral, collective friction is off, radio goes as required. Helicopter Golf Romeo India lifting across runway 26, 28, whichever one it was, and then transponder goes to Alt 7000. So cyclic, rear and right, shitload of right pedal, preempting, wahee. I'm rushing this like a real aircraft, but there we go. And quick G check, one nice route, TV's green compass automatic, green not OPM captions, 75, 530, 57. Wahee, this is interesting in the sim. There you go. So going to roll this round, looking out left into right. Oh my lord. There you go, let's get some airflow. There you go, CHT's already down to 260. Speed coming up then, so 45 knots in the transition. Keep this pedals neutral, keep 45 knots on, pop up. And this is now climbing away from Elstree. I'm going to rip that collective up to around 90%. But hey, not 96. There you go. They should be fairly aligned. Don't like what that's doing there. So this is a big electrical substation here. So we'll take this out to the right. I'll just change the old iPad. There you go. And we're following, I think it's the M1. Can't remember if this is the M or A41 or something like that. And we should be coming up to around 750, 800 feet here. Oh my god, I'm going to have to trim the hell for this. First time in a helicopter in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it's not gone too horrendously at the moment. So 750 feet, just to the right of the feature, leaving for Heli Point Alpha at Elstree. So this should then take us through North London. I should have explained earlier, I don't remember if I did. So I'm going to try and take you guys through the heli lanes. This is probably a bit of a fool's errand on account of barely managing to fly the helicopter. I can hear creaking and the RPM has gone apeshit. Technical term for what's it doing. I'm trying to trim. The bloody trim isn't working. And this is quite a lot of effort. Because this is Heli Point Alpha here, the junction. And we're going to follow it to the left, so this is Watford, North London on our left hand side. And now we can start climbing, which you would want to be doing just for a bit of safety in a single engine piston helicopter. So if the engine goes in this, yeah, you've not got many options really, so you're looking at like the fields just on this side here. Try and bring that power up. Let's try and bloody trim. Is that even working? I don't know. God. So we're out at Point Alpha, and we're going to head to the river, or the canal, I can't remember which one it's called, and get to Canal Bend VRP. So that's a visual reference point, almost immediately west of Elstree. Trying to keep low enough that the fixed wing stuff, so that's one of the fixed wing VRPs for in and outbounds, and you'd want to be deconflicting from that traffic if you were doing this for real. But at the moment we're just mucking around seeing how accurate CABRI is, so please don't, if you are one of the real world Heathrow controllers who I've spoken to a couple of times and you see me doing this, I promise it wasn't me that busted your airspace last time. I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Cameron. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. Thanks for your thoughts. But yeah, hopefully microlights can get me in there, like back in the air sometime shortly. And then yeah, we'll see where we go from here. For now, it's just, if anything, it's just nice to keep sharp on the CABRI like this. Trying to give this stuff anyway. This is awful to control without the trim working. So at the golf course, you've now got the canal on the left, so Canal Bend coming up ahead of us. So we've got Watford, North London on the left hand side. Now we've changed heading, we'll do what's called a Freedance check. So fuel, 73 litres, radio, correct frequency. And in fact at this point I've been changing to Northwood Approach. Oh. Why has the engine just cut out? Oh my lord. Okay, well here we go. Time to test auto rotations, I guess. Collectors on the ground. Magnetoplasma mixture is cut. Who cut the mixture? I'm trying to pull back to give us some auto rotative option. You want to keep that 60 knots on, if not 30, all the way to the ground because we've not got enough RPM. Kicking now. And lifty, lifty, lifty. Oh, that was a bit of a jumpy one, and that's really yeeted me back up in the air. For goodness sake. So what's done that then? Who's cut my throttle? For goodness sake, what's done that? Is this my world's worst joystick being crap again? You know what, I might have to unbind the mixture, because that is irritating. Oh well, we pretty much survived our auto-rotation there. Pretty much, not enough of a flare on the end, but the rotor blades, despite being on idle and pulling back, sorry, collective down and pulling back, you couldn't get any RPM up in those blades. Ah well. That's almost funny. Almost funny. I'm crying inside, don't worry. For fuck's sake, man. Let's unbind the mixture while I'm here, because I guarantee this is my crap house. X56. Deciding it to be funny to cut mixture. What's been assigned? Power management mixture. Yeah. Clear current input, validate. And then flight control, propeller, no, throttle, helicopter throttle axis, yeah. See you later, pal. Clear current input. Although, do I trust that one? I'm gonna have to. Sorry, folks. If you are in the market for a joystick, by the way, take it from me, do not get an X56. This is like the third one I've had. I've tried everything under sun, modifying the inside, outside, whether it's plugged into the motherboard or whether it's a powered hub or whatever. It's absolute garbage. So yeah, don't do that. Anyhow, back to where we left off. Is the governor on? Yes, that's keeping us at 530 RPM. Good. And then we can do a small confined area takeoff. Unexpected confined area takeoff. Here we go, let's try and take off in here. At takeoff run, I'm not happy with how much power we've got. We'll do a low hover check. In fact, it's bloody trim working. In fact, since this is stream 0 in this helicopter, I'm not going to make too many apologies for doing this sort of stuff, because it might be the experience you're going to have as well. Keep it real, folks. You don't see the fake shit on this channel. I don't have time for that. Trim. Control trimming surfaces. Rudder trim. The ho! Ho ho ho! There's a separate rotor trim, is there? Right. So no, I wasn't trimming after. Okay. That's why you do your bindings beforehand. Okay, so you are want to, if anyone is watching this and hasn't done this yet, you are going to want to do your separate trim bindings. Longitudinal trim. Increase or decrease? Nose down or up, down, left or right? Decrease? What does increase or decrease mean? It's I'll pitch up or pitch down. For God's sake. Decrease. Nose up. I don't know, we'll find out in a minute. Increase. Longitudinal trim. Increase. Yes. And then we can decrease. Whose idea was this? And this is me giving a bit of colonialism, and they weren't English, so it's like clearly a lost in translation thing. For God's sake. Right, apply trim. Hey, you never know, this might actually animate now. Let's have a look. So on top of the control column, forward. No, that doesn't move. It's not even moving the rotor head. I can hear it actuating. Well, we'll give this a bash. see how it goes. I might be able to reverse these in a minute. So, confined areas. Oh, Cameron, you're at work, you cheeky devil. Enjoy work. Hope it's not too aggy, too stressful. Keep fighting the good fight. Look after yourself. People are like oxygen emergencies on aircraft, aren't they? You know, can't help other people until you've got your own mask on yourself. So yeah, all the best. Thanks for sticking around. By all means, I'll be doing a lot more of this in future. Now there's actually something to, something to talk about. Apparently, I'm in the countdown for the overpower. Oh well. So yeah, we'll come to a low hover, like a 2 or 3 foot hover. And I'm needing a suspicious amount of forward cycling here. So I've immediately got to trim the wrong way round. It's trying to yeet me everywhere. Oh my god. Righty-ho. So I'm going to try and trim this out. Boom. Want. Back and left. It's very difficult to trim. You can't feel it. Ah, okay. They are the wrong way round. Right. That's why then. Because decrease and increase was very, very obvious, wasn't it? On the stickage. Increase trim was 7 or 8. Right, increase. So make that 8. Make that 9. And then decrease longitudinal trim. 7. Maybe the other two will be okay. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, define. Oh, here we go. Right. It's going to be a little bit better now. So left a little bit right. Oh my god. Oh, it's awful. Ah! So much power, where's it going? Come on, man. It's not doing this with no feel whatsoever. So you want to be in like a 2 or 3 foot hover with it in trim, not sat on the ground. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, that's a load better. Hey, finally, a bit of trim going on. Fuck, I'm trying to fight this thing so much. It is having itself all over the bloody place though. So you do a nice little G-check load down, see how much power you got. I'm 55 at the moment, which is enough to rip up to maximum, but not over 100. Go up to 90, 200 feet, 200 feet. Start nudging it over without causing a drop. In, still increasing, 500 feet per minute. Yay! Right. Here we go. It's not even at Canal Bend yet. Well, here we are, about to hit Canal Bend. After that little escapade, for which I do apologise slightly for my hardware, but people who should be apologising is Logitech. Looking at you, Logitech. So I'm going to climb away. We've got Canal Bend here. It is the Loxbow Lake looking thing. That's Canal Bend. I'm going to head over to RAF Northolt, so now we're putting the call into what would probably end up being Heathrow radar. I just initially it'd be Heathrow radar, Golf Charlie Bravo Romeo India. There we go, Charlie Bravo Romeo India. I've normally rung ahead, so most of the time it's just been Golf Charlie Bravo Romeo India Heathrow radar. I have your details. Continue route direct Northwood Squawk, and then whatever my squawk code would be, like 4641 or something. Direct Northwood Squawk 4641 Golf Romeo India. And here we go. Routing over towards Northwood then, so we'll take 2,000 feet. So I'll just climb us back up to 2,000 feet, about 500 feet per minute. CABRI recommendation, or rather Gimbal's recommendation, don't exceed 500 feet per minute in the CABRI. You can absolutely rip like 1,000 feet per minute in it. But it's simply because if you have an engine failure in the climb, then you're not going to be at like the highest pitch, and so you've got the best chance of rescuing it before things start to go pear-shaped on you. So the decay in rotor RPM is going to be like, you know, the blades hitting a brick wall if you're ripping maximum collective. Whereas if you're kind of limiting yourself to 500 RPM, you are just giving yourself that little bit of, you know, a flat blade, should we say. Let's keep 1500 because we're low. Northwood just ahead. Cursor mode and toolbar panel. Thank you. Should be clear of cloud. To be fair, it's a little bit. Just drop a little. I'm still happy with that. This is what we call pushing the boundaries. Try and find out 80 knot attitude actually. A little bit fast. Pulling 90. Although I've got time to make up. Now that I know my trim's working, albeit very, very jerky. Here we are, overhead Northwood. Routing now direct RAF Northolt, home of 32 Squadron. Or it certainly was. I think they're 32 Squadron disbanding, or they're just getting new aircraft. 32 Squadron, Royal Flight, Queen's Flight, now the King's Flight. It's actually where the Royals fly out of a lot of admin stuff. It's where Her Majesty the Queen dearly departed recently. Yeah, it's where she was flown to. Her Majesty. And especially in such a built-up area as London, you want that defensive flying. So you're thinking, what is the wind direction essentially at all times? Thinking, where was that wind coming from? And well, what's going to happen in the event of auto-rotation. So hopefully that's not going to happen again unsolicited, as it just did. It wasn't too bad a test. Now we've got to see that the blades almost had too much inertia in them there. They weren't changing as much, like collective on the floor, that the RPM should have been through the roof, practically ripping the blades off, but alas, it did not. So we're cruising comfortably 80 knots-ish, 1500 feet-ish. It can be at 2000 towards Gutteridge, but Gutteridge onwards should be 1500 feet, so we're gradually dropping ourselves down as we approach Heathrow. So I've got my Garmin pilot shouting at me from the iPad. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it. The angry lady in the iPad shouting away. That's RAF Northolt beneath us. So we'll keep our 1500 feet there. Try and keep 80 to 90 knots on. Trimmed out nicely. And I believe Gutteridge is technically between these two buildings here, so it's not actually the airfield itself. The turning point is down between this sort of, I can't remember, there's like a farm or a scrapyard and the main road around the airfield. So it's technically this. At this point now you're cutting across the greenery. Again, hopping between the greenery in the event of engine failure, etc. preferably without a massive with a descent to 1,000 feet. So just going to start that gradual descent on to be 1,500. 1,500 feet-ish by haze, so you're coming around, greenery, you can see Heathrow ahead. Check altitude, 1,200 now. Just trying to keep it as late as possible. I know the first times I went through I used to pin myself to the altitudes and then basically auto-rotate down to down to the next altitude. Which you can do rather than a leisurely drift. I guess leisurely drift, if you start to move on to bigger helicopters with multiple engines, etc., it's just that bit. It's a bit more acceptable to do because you've got passenger comfort to think about, and you've got 2 engines. So if something goes wrong, whereas in this over this area, yes, we're looking at I'm keeping I'm keeping it sort of time downwind of the stuff I want to auto rotate into. Or trying to at least try and get my bearings. So it's the golf course here, I think. It's haze, at which we want 1,500, then down to 1,000. Yeah, so I think haze is this bit just coming up on the motorway junction here. So 1,000 to 1,500-ish. Then airport Spur, we want to be at 1,000 by, so we do want that to descent now, and actually I've got that on there. God, it's hard in a sim. It flies so much easier in. It's so much easier flying the Cabri for real. You get so much more feedback and a lot more peripheral vision. Can I zoom out? Maybe, but then you guys can't see anything then. So you're 1,000 feet over airport Spur, which is this bit. Yeah. And normally at airport Spur, Heathrow radar would kick you off, just basically say contact Heathrow Tower on this frequency, call sign only. Speak to you soon. Basically, I'll call you on the other side. It's like, yeah, cool. And there's just Heathrow Tower, Golf Charlie Bravo Romeo India. Just got Charlie Bravo Romeo India, Heathrow Tower. Hold Sipson. That's just like 3 inbounds or whatever. Raid hold. Just mooching around, Can mooch around here. And this now you'd want to be doing at 1,000 feet maximum. So I'm going to do this at 900. So for myself, I normally try and take 100 feet in this because it's so task saturated. And again, you could hover, like sort of police helicopters and stuff, and air ambulances and things. If it's multi-engine, they'll tend to just hover over Sipson. And that's just busting 1,000 feet right there. That's not necessarily the point for today, is it? Yeah, they'll tend to hover, but if you're in a single engine piston in particular, you're not going to want to do that. It's just such a dangerous position to be in if you get an engine failure. Here you want your 60 knots on, and in fact, normally when I do this, I come back to VY, maybe VY plus 10, so 60 knots. Get that trim. Oh my god, that trim's aggressive. Oh lord. There you go, 50 knots, VY. Just so you're using the least amount of power, it's easiest on the engine. I'd imagine me holding on here. Yeah, 60, down to 800 feet, sorry. Sorry. Shocking craftsmanship. Okay, 900 feet, 60 knots. It's always slow, isn't it? And you can look at Heathrow. There it is. It's all amazing. It feels illegal because you've got A380s and stuff taking off beneath you and next to you. And if feels even worse in a second. So today we'll go. We'll go right, so you get the longest look. In fact, it should be left, I think. It should be left because everyone will be going left to right, won't they? So yeah, in this case, so now you've hit Airport Spur and you'll route via the Virgin Hangar. So we'll take our 1,000 feet maximum, maybe to 900, and now if following this perimeter road around the outside, oh my lord, we're back up to 80 knots again. And we'll say that we won't have to hold. I have held here. It's in a CABRI as well, actually. Over the Virgin Hangar. Jesus, like flying a holding pattern at 50 knots in a CABRI between two runways at Heathrow. That is probably some of the most bloody terrifying flying I've ever done. Literally just popping an orbit in here. Obviously Heathrow being so big that you can in something small like this, but yeah, coming back to 50 knots. 50 knots, not bad, not bad. 50 knots, 900 feet-ish, can I nose down a bit more. Or people landing right here, next to you. Or indeed the hold here would probably be for a landing in front of you on 27 left. And then as soon as you're clear, ripping collective to get out of the way as fast as possible in your annoying little washing machine. That'll be Heathrow away. Bye Heathrow. Heading on round to Feltham. You've got Bedfont around here. Okay. Yeah, so this bit sort of down here is... I can't remember which bit actually, it's my bad. Specifically it's Bedfont, I think it's this. This sort of bit down here. So from here now you're going to head to Feltham. And this now is at 800 feet, this should be 800 feet maximum. So I believe we're essentially, you're going to hop, you're sticking as best you can, obviously, to the route. You're just going to try and hop in something like a CABRI anyway, between the green spaces. If not directly, just in a way that you're looking at it thinking, yeah, I'll get in there. This field on the left engine goes now, yeah, I'll get in there, just about. Looking at this on the right, yeah, I'll get in there. Big space down here, yeah, I'll get in there. Hop towards this one. I do believe this is Feltham around here, which we should be 800 feet on H9. So I flipped my chart to Sunbury Lock. Yeah. Sunbury Lock, so now you're looking ahead, looking at the big picture feature. Again, you should now be able to nudge up to 1,000 feet between here and Sunbury Lock. So, Sunbury Lock, you've got the reservoirs ahead. It's on the river just before those. Or the river canal, I believe. I think it's a canal. Oh, trim. Oh my god. Trim in this thing. It's really aggressive. And it's noisier. But it's quite noisy to trim in the CABRI. Can't tell when it's going. A little bit of left trim on there. Oh, that's not bad. That's not badly trimmed at all, sir. Sorry for making you sick looking around. Someone's recommended the best adult dating sites, are they? I'm intrigued. Throw a ban in their direction if you're watching. Unless they are watching. You know, Sexy Girl 69 XYZ. By all means, give us a like and a follow. So yeah, Sunbury Lock. You're looking at it down here. So that's kind of this weird islandy bit. There's another one up there, but it's this one all around here. These are the locks going up the canal. There it is up there as well. Sunbury Lock. Woo. And now, just start following the river. It can be up at 1,000 feet by here. So rip that collective. Good bit of blade noise. Trying to force it there. That's me mucking about. Ooh. That's alright. That's alright. So let's go to Teddington. Teddington's on H3, isn't it? It's 1,000 feet. So what 1,000 feet is me looking around, I think. So you break the river just on the edge here, so you've got the park. Coming up here, and you'll want to do this as close to 1,000 feet as possible, like 900-ish. I pull this up, get my 80 knots back, so I'm going stupidly fast. And now let's just start arcing this through here. So, across this point, now you're crossing a lot of the parks. Oh, freeze. Freeze, don't crash. Come on. Still freezing. Hey. You're going to arc it around. And cross for Teddington. Trimmed roughly for 80 knots here. Yeah, sort of. You know what I need on here? I need a stick extension. Which, to be fair, for stick extensions, girls, Sexy 69 XYZ can probably hook you up with one of them. That's probably not the same sort of thing, though, is it? Teddington. Here we go. So you're looking at, like, I think this is like Teddington down here. On the right. Ah, it's like this sportsy cricket club thing on the right, so actually a little left rack here. So it should be over here. When I'm not triggering my own terrain alerts on the iPad. There you go. And we're still good for 1,000 feet. Still got London in the distance. And then we're looking at Richmond. So the golf course just here. Now you essentially hop between two golf courses. So you've got this golf course here, and Richmond. What's all that? Ah, H3 US H4. Oh, something in my teeth. Go. Yeah, so then you hit this golf course, Richmond. You just kind of going around this lake with it just on your left, on your right, sorry. But it is a bit of a curve across Richmond. I think this is Richmond Park, to be fair. I'm not from London, so I don't know. I don't know. As I dig out the altitudes on my chart. 900, yeah, whatever. Crossing the park around the green stuff, yeah, so we're just this stuff here, just along your right hand side. To what should be another sports club slash golf course on this side, Roehampton. And then yeah, follow this. Yeah, this is it on the right here, the golf course. Oh man, something really irritating my teeth, sorry. Sorry if I'm lisping, but it's very irritating. Yeah, so again, just using that green space, so you've got the golf course, because we don't care about golfers, like if that crash, it's fine. You can just kill the golfer, it'll be fine. Following this green space, look at this stadium ahead of us, and this is now Barnes to our front. Which, while I do change my chart, I may maximum 500 feet here. I think this is a 500 footer. Now we're going to go right. Well, this is us now, down to Thames. Which I will pause. I'll see if we can bring this up. I'll see if I can bring the chart up for you. Stand by. Can I get you the London helicopter chart? Up on screen. Must be a way I can send my iPad to you guys. Maybe not. Maybe not. H3, yeah, Barnes. And then, yeah, that's about it. Nah, sorry. Heliport, like 1,000 feet. Nah, never mind. I'll try and work on that. I'll try and get something so I can share charts with you guys. Why are we all the way up there? Come on, chopper. So a lot of the behaviour, so yeah, first thoughts and impressions. It's a good start. It is a good start indeed. It's just hard to tell what the intention might well be or have been. You know, to sit there and say, ah, well, this, you know, the MLI doesn't change depending on the situation. And they'll say, yeah, well, it's not a study level helicopter. It's like, well, could be though. It's not a massively complex helicopter. It can be, that's kind of the point of it. But who am I to say that? Who am I to say that? So we've got some rather appalling looking photogrammetry. That must mean we're near London. Go to London Heliport on the bottom right there. So there it is, Battersea Heliport as it was once known, or rather nowadays it's just London Heliport, Edgbaston London Heliport, something like that. Edmiston, sorry. Right, there, yeah, that's me. Almost plunging into the Thames there. Yeah, so we've got a few heights now. So we're going to head round to Chelsea Bridge. Yeah, Chelsea Bridge on H4, which is nice. So most of this can now be done at 1500. So with this going mental, we can go pull up. So 1000 back there, and then you can jump up to 1500. There's just a lot of diving of altitudes because when you're in here, you're not actually exempt from the 500-foot rule. So as close as you are flying to all these buildings, you can actually be prosecuted for flying too close to them. So it is quite stressful when you are flying near them. So you do want to be as high as possible. Normally knock 100 off. Obviously, when you're flying this properly, you've got a bit more awareness about it. There you go. That's Battersea Power Station down there, been redone as a events venue or whatever it is now as we pass Chelsea Bridge. Go through 1400, 80 knots, nice. And we can actually climb now as we pass Chelsea Bridge. We can actually get 2,000 out of here. So we can actually come all the way up to 1900. And you do want to be on the right hand side of the Thames, not where I am, like a blocker. Here at Vauxhall Bridge by 2,000 feet now, the maximum altitude here, we should be at 1900 here. So you can see in that very short distance, we have 500 feet to rip up. So it does get a little bit aggy. Here we go, it's 1900 feet. As we cross over the London Eye. Staying on the right hand side of the feature, as we should be. Get the feature on your left. Bear in mind you can be doing this and helicopters can be coming the other way as well. I've had very busy days in the London Heli lanes where I've had about 5 or 6 other helicopters coming the other way. And in my direction have been overtaken on the left by mostly squirrels flying around, but a lot of Augusta 109s as well, out of London Heliport. Augusta bandwidth too low to stream photogrammetry. I'm sure it is. That's a shame. But London looks like this anyway, just a bit crap and blurry and, you know, bleak. Who'd do London, eh? London Bridge just beneath us, beside the Shard. Hello there. Not to be confused with Tower Bridge, just down there. There we go, just above the Shard. And I'm really just mucking about testing the CABRI a bit here, but I might do a proper Heli lanes video in the CABRI. Why the devil not? Flying the same route, just Elstree to Rochester. I'll try and do something where I can get the chart up. Because I think that'd be good for people to see. It's like one of the most congested airspaces like in the world, as Clarkson would say. But you know, and Isle of Dogs, yeah, 2,000 feet up to here. So basically 1900 from here onwards. Clear of clouds. So you've got the city of London here, with its own police and all that. Let's come back to a 80 knot attitude, just because we're getting a bit fast, but at the same time I also want to get a shimmy on because I'm conscious it's been nearly 2 hours of me chatting shit and some people have been here the whole time. Congratulations folks, you have survived the first test. That flying is actually really boring. In real life it's mostly just paperwork and getting muddy and sat waiting for something to happen. There you go, that's 80% of flying. Sorry to kill the dream for anyone wanting to get into it, it's not that exciting. There you are, London City with the Millennium Dome up ahead. We've got a big cruise ship there. Just to the forward left of it, the Cutty Sark by the Naval College. And that is our Isle of Dogs marker point. And in this we'll want as much height as possible. There are suggested minimum heights / altitudes for being in here in a single engine piston. You want as much time as you can get your hands on. So you really do want to be as high as you can around here. Again, sometimes with London City, like the controllers will coordinate and sometimes give you non-standard altitudes. But I might just say maximum 1500 here, because they expect they're going to have to go around to London City or something. We just do as you're told. It's just following a chart. It just happens very quickly, and the chart's very small scale. 80 knots. Well, I'll do a proper timed run, flying through here in the CABRI, maybe like a Top Gear time trial or something. We'll try and race through and see how imposing / unimposing it can be. Essentially just over very fast. Everyone seems to think, wow, like, fly through London is massive. Yeah mate, 80 knots practically as the crow flies, or following the Thames. You through it in like 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes tops. And that's it. Was that it? But in the same vein, it's like 4.5 minutes and you've got like 7 or 8 altitude changes and all that sort of thing. It's mental. So I'm just going to correct for flats, which should be over there somewhere. That's the way we'll head out. So essentially, yeah, flying down over the Naval College across this park, and now you're trying to sort of do a bit of park hopping. and I tend to stick at 1900 here, because you are still underneath London City's airspace. So yeah, follow this through to the road. There should be the Kidbrook flats like around here somewhere, I think. Wait, 1900, where did you go? What did I do with my 1900? How are we doing? Yeah, 500. Small again. There's the Kidbrook flats. And now essentially out towards Rochester, preferably not in the cloud. So now I'll probably just rip a load of collective so we can get 90%. Hey. So can fly along here to the QE2 bridge. You've got two motorways in front of you. Well, kind of one to the left, one to the right. Depending which runway you expect somewhere like Rochester to be on would now determine where I go. So I can try and find that out, can't I? What they're going to be on. Let's do, where's air traffic? Just nearest. Well, if anything, trimmed. Yeah, actually, let's treat this vaguely properly. So if I'm just keeping to my 1900, let's bring that back. So if, yeah, you do a free dat check as you leave. Let's keep that greenery. Yeah, do a free dat check as you leave the Kidbrook Flats VRP because you change direction. So fuel, 54 litres. Radio, you'd still be on with probably Heathrow radar still. So yeah, on Heathrow radar. They may pass you off. I mean, I've been passed off early. They provided you sodding off out the zone and you're not going to do anything outrageous, like staying roughly the same altitude. They try and get rid of you as soon as possible. So yeah, heading off out the zone. So let's just say we've been handed over radio, that's fine. I'd at least stack up now. Rochester information. And B1's 2.5, yes. Oh god. Select when we're landing. Okay, Rochester information will normally give you airfield information and flags. But information services aren't particularly well done in here. So runway 20 we'll go with based on current weather conditions. So we'll probably head left. So we'll drift out to the left for this one. So following, I can't remember which road this is, which A road it is. Either way, this one on the left, there's another one running vaguely parallel on the right. We'll follow this one at 1900 feet. When I work out a trim and all that, I mean, do a bit of flight test on the way back. Now we're just mucking about. Just a bit. Power increase 97%. That's good. Bring it back into trim. It does come down again eventually, which is a bit weird. That's a weird delayed reaction. That should be fairly instant. There you go. There's a bit of torque now. Even the ball's centered. Trim string. I need me some pedals, I think. If I'm going to start doing this properly. It's bloody expensive though. Either way, following the road, looking out for the Dartford crossing, or the QE2 bridge, whatever it's called. There it is. Hello. Mostly looking out for fixed wing folk here, so that's a big marker for people going around the outside of London City's airspace and the London TMA. So Yeah, this is quite a traffic heavy area, or can be. There's a lot of people going from right to left and so forth, basically following this road over the Dartford crossing. I, however, will be trying to keep out of the way of it a little bit. So essentially you can see that on the left up there, you can see the road going up into the distance, so we'll just use that as our far reference. You're just drifting between 1800 and 1900. And they've not really got anywhere to be. But yeah, what we're halfway through before, read that check. Yes, fuel, now 51 litres. Radio, we've switched. Well, we've got Rochester radio stacked up. Normally I've had 2 radios, so I'd have one ready listening on both, but I'd still definitely be on with the Heathrow radar at the moment because people can get the service as they fly past. So just keeping an ear out, even if I'm not talking to them, just keeping an ear out. You know, or be on some sort of service, like a traffic service outside around here. D direction, so yeah, we know where we're going. Got the direction out there. We check it's right. Direction indicator roughly aligns. The direction indicator on this doesn't roughly align, so that's what we need adjusting. So you can see now magnetically we're flying roughly 120-ish, so this needs adjusting. Straight and level flight, which is an interesting one to achieve here. Because we're flying roughly 120, so we adjust the DI to match magnetic compass. Good, so that's D for direction. A, altitude 1900. T for trim, trimmed out, and transponder 7000. Oh, Charlie, or Sierra, whatever. 7000 altitude. Excuse me. If you get a drinky drink, here we go. Hands off. Let's see how it goes. Oh, a bit of cheeky descent. Feedback, man, helicopters are hard, like in simulators, you can't feel stuff, like really difficult, because the motions are so big that you have to do, I guess a stick extension, big recommendation, stick extension, like having it on the floor, because you've got that range of motion obviously, but the fulcrum is all the way at the bottom, you can make really tiny movements with the longer stick. Whereas in this, just that really tiny movement has a really big effect. So I'm still just on the desk without the stick extension. So, yeah. That's an interesting one. So let's get used to. Might try to Bell 407 in a bit, maybe try it on stream. Like about, like, there you go, more first look. I haven't tried it at all yet. And here we are. Still more first looks than CABRI. With fairly substantial CABRI experience in the grand scheme of things. Just coming up on the hill then. With us, but if you are, thank you for sticking around. Very much appreciated. Hope you we've learned a little bit about the CABRI, and it's a bit of a kind of autistic aft ADHD rambling speech. I hope that made some sort of sense along the way. It may make proper videos, it's probably a bit easier than streaming, but this is more scripted, so you see the reality of someone figuring his stuff, some stuff out as they go. I don't know, so they've gone. See Rochester there. Wait, where did that come from? That was a kick. This is a weather change, I think. We've got 1900 feet. Now, it's quite difficult to stay defensive going into Rochester 2-0. So the best you're going to get is following these fields like I started doing now. But, yeah, you put the call in. Obviously, it'd just be a case of, especially if it's empty, just a cheeky land at your discretion. So you know, from your India, land at your discretion, surface wind, whatever it is. It's not setting it up, so yeah. You can feed out. So for this, it'll be a straight approach. Like my helicopter on, no edge on a helicopter. There is a cross runway, which the first time I came here, I did almost go for that. You can see it running away from you, so I started turning in like this. And they kind of noticed and were just like, just confirm it's runway 20. And I was like, yeah, totally, mate, yeah, I'll just come around this way, and pretend that never happened. Easily done in a grass place in the middle of nowhere. So now, yeah, you want a constant relative ground speed, so this now is going to be horrendous as we go try. So we're aiming for that end, we know we're aiming for this end of the runway. 60 knots. Got a wind basically on the nose for us here, this is nice, isn't it? We're fairly trim. We are fairly... The weather rating's quite good, it is kicking me a little bit. Over to the left. Just trying to slow down that a little bit more. Again, that comes to relative ground speed. So, the ground moving at the same rate as what you want, which is going to stay in the same point in your screen. As you start getting below 30 knots in particular, you won't be worried about vortex ring, but we're nowhere near descending fast enough for that. And if you keep the same picture, you'll never get into it anyway. Everybody has about VRS. Is a non-factor if you're flying properly, basically. If you're flying your correct profiles. And now, nice and slow, if it's a little bit high, because I was looking around there. But here we go, and that's what's essentially just rolling off. And he's taken my space, the air ambulance, so-and-so. That's the launcher start. We have to go where the Kent air ambulance is there. Alas, no, so we'll shove it down on this one instead. But that'll be it, it'll just be Gov India. Vacated 20, landing Bedfont. Or they'd tell you it's an information service, but here we go. Boot full of right pedal. It's interesting trying to offer this nicely in the sim actually. Oh, bloody hell, that's better. Starting to get used to that, but there we go. That is us down at the start. Echo Golf. Tango Oscar. Yeah, there we go. From Black Knight, yeah, stick extension for flying helos, yeah. Especially like for DCS and things like the Apache as well. God, the Apache's I hate it, so twitchy. But I think, yeah, the stick extension and or just an entirely new setup, get rid of this garbage, have a proper seat and stick-based thing, you know, the base and all that, and a proper collective and things. So it's got a good amount of throw, a bit of feedback. Anyhow, yeah, let's do a shutdown procedure. So we're off a long way, so it's really going to standby. That's a bit of a fixed wing habit of mine, like leaving transponder on standby until the threshold. of the runway, but yeah, our helicopter's leaving alt all the time. So collective's down, friction comes on, so you'd roll that on to lock it down in place so it's not going to blow up again. The governor comes off, it's just going to be fighting it. The governor comes off, just to go inwards. And then we cut throttle. Oh, maybe cut the throttle, but it's I've unbound it, haven't I? Because it's just, oh, for God's sake. Oh. Ah. Okay, well, I can do that for now. Cut. Yeah, there should be a horn for the bark there. Anyway, that comes down to idle. You do an idle check. Oh my God, come on. Blades, come down. And the oil pressure is now apparently too low. It would be. It just wouldn't be unless it were too hot. CHT is already below 180. Those numbers and the kind of inertias in everything, really, like the temperatures. I think that's the sort of thing that seems to be off at the moment. Oh, but I can't be asked to wait for this. Oh, they do an idle check so that you record. There's the same reason to do it on startup. Just make sure you know it's not going to drop below 1050. But provided you brought the rotor RPM below 400, this should now go into, I can't remember what the name of the mode is. I think it's power mode and then flight, FLT, when it's over 450. So you brought this down and then you bring up throttle again. I have to do this kind of manually now, which is irritating. And so you bring this below 400 and then set to 420 to cool down. Governor off. Aye. That's 430. I mean, you can do it like up to 450. I mean, I've always done 420 before. We'll do 430 for now, that's fine. And at this point, you do it for 2 minutes minimum, so you'd be looking on for the time you cut. You'd have done it, so that's probably 106 as an example. Let's just say 106, it's probably like 5 minutes ago by the time the blades slow down enough. So we come to 108 for your 2 minute cool down. Seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 minutes. CHT checks less than 180, so 153 there. We cut throttle. Actually, you'd be able to force that through. See, I can't force that through to idle now. I can. Into the detent, basically. There's an idle detent. Either way, that's going to start slowing down. Yep. So throttle, cut, the stable idle clutch comes off. Wait 10 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The clutch light should be on. Can't tell if that's on. Is it? Yes, that's on. And then you cut the mixture, so that you essentially wait for the belt to disengage. Cut. Mixture comes off. Plasma, magneto. Landing lights, nav lights. nav lights are attached to the cabin lights as well. It's weird. Landing lights, nav lights, alternator, just going right to left here now. So landing lights, nav light, alternator. Bump. Wait for less than 150 RPM before the rotor brake comes in, so that's where that little arrow is on there. That's 150. This would be dropping way faster than this. I'm going to do what Americans do. Just some collective to give grip resistance. There you go. No one ever does this. $70, $60, $53, $52, $51, $150. Yay! Then we can pull rotor brake. And we rip rotor brake and try to stop it with one at 12 o'clock, just like so, so that you don't get blade sailing, whipping the blades against the tail. Cool, strobe light comes off, it's now safe to approach the aircraft. DAC on, check and notes, there you go. 1.2, it's a brand new aircraft. EPM flight times, so you can hold down mode. Press it again just to keep it on. There you go. And that doesn't do anything. Oh, no, it didn't do that, did it? Hold. And now press, and that should hold it. No. Oh well, it doesn't do that either. But, here's what it is. Yeah. EPM flight times noted. Hold down mode. Come on. Press power. No, that does exit and then continue. God damn it. Oh well, little thing. And that is that. That'd be a case of just turning these off. So transponder without zooming. So these little things like that, I need to disable the zoom on my mouse, because that always irritated me. Home. I like this GPS, it's always been in here. That's good fun, I like that. This is essentially what I had up anyway, on my iPad, same screen. Nice. And then yeah, master switch on. Bob's your auntie, but only at the weekends. Which is fine, by the way, that's not a reflection on it. Don't cancel me. There you go. That is it, the CABRI G2 Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, well, well. Who'd have thunk we would ever see the day? I know I certainly didn't, to be honest. Yeah, there we go. External showcase. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, some good little details. So like the rudder. That should be animating now. I'm twisting the rudder. And that should be animating like it was when it was running. So when the pedals move, it's mechanical linkage. So this should be compressing and moving the rear blades. Yeah, got your nice little chip detectors, little electronic couplings on there. Nice bit of detail in here. Big French cable ties, pins. Nice scratches down the bodywork. Well, there shouldn't be that many. It's had the Paris car treatment. Yeah. And then yeah, look, it's the engine chimney. Can't really get into here. Got all like your oil and fuel distributors, your fuel pump, low and high pressure fuel pumps and stuff. Oh, the carb heat. It's actually a throttle. It's quite good. Yeah, you got your throttle linkages and stuff in here. You should be able to see the carb heat from there, isn't it? It should be along here. It should be in there somewhere. I think. If I remember rightly. Kill me in the comments if not, but it should be there. That's a shame. I was hoping that would animate with the carb heat being off. Oh, get inside this way. Oh. Can't get inside. Oh god, you would want to there. There you go. There's your oil, your map lines, manifold air pressure. Nice. Well, in fairness, this is fairly okay for stuff you won't see. Gas, magnetos, your plasma stuff should be on top of the engine. Top end. Meh. Yeah. Well, there you go. The CABRI is at Rochester. As was foretold by the prophets. Either way, yeah, good fun. Good little aircraft. Love the CABRI for real. This one's okay. It's alright. I think it's just getting used to hardware. Yeah, just getting used to hardware differences and a few quirks that this has at the moment, a few incorrections. Which are quite sad, some of them are quite simple, quite basic. I mean, here. Actually, I've gone full collective there, and nothing animates when it's off. That's a bit of a shame. It should do, because it's mechanical linkages, all the blades move and all that sort of thing. But hopefully it'll come with fixes. I'll try and report them back. I'll have a look and see if other people don't, but I'll try and report them back. This could be good. This should have been an example study level helicopter. It's missing a couple of relatively key points. The blade inertia and stuff. There's just various things to and how long the blades take to do their thing. Whether that's starting up, slowing down. A lot of pressure behaviours and temperature behaviours aren't amazing. Well, they're not horrendous necessarily, but you know, not right. Yeah, but it's a good starting point. There we go, 40th anniversary. And obviously, more important than any of that, today obviously being the 11th of November. I hope everyone partook in their silences at 11. Just to remember the fallen who fought for the things we have today, like the luxury of me being able to do this right now, the freedoms we have. So just having a think on that, you know, obviously doing the stream, trying not to detract from people who paid the ultimate sacrifice to allow things like this stream, and if I was doing this flight for real, people who fight for that sort of thing to happen. If you have watched, thank you very much indeed, as always, for sticking around. It's very much appreciated. Wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you in the next stream. There will be many more to come, and now I've got something like this to play with, so expect more decent, I want to say, study level CABRI content, as study level as it can be, without getting myself in trouble for, you know, someone jumping into a CABRI and plowing it into a building because he said, oh, this guy on YouTube said I'll do this. Well, don't do that, just don't be silly. Don't be silly. This is just a sim. It might help you in other things. Got a few things in mind. But it might also be totally wrong. And I have to say that. But thank you very much. one last time. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay excellent to each other, look after yourselves. Leave likes and comments, just all that rubbish. Let me know what sort of stuff you want to see if you are watching this. So yeah, if you want to see things like auto rotations, I'll try and do one on auto rotative profiles, because there's a good 5 or so auto rotative profiles just in the CABRI alone. Well, I've never flown Bell 407, so I can't profess to know much about Bell 407, but I can certainly look, with at least professional insight. See what I can offer on that, but I think most of it will be on the CABRI for now. Which will be jolly good fun. I've got all the instructor notes and things on the CABRI, so yeah, we can go through some auto-rotative profiles, techniques for hovers in and out of ground effect, but I'll have to practice those myself first in the sim, because it's very different flying in the sim as it is to real life, mostly with hardware. So yeah, let us know how it goes. Look after yourselves, look after each other. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.